All right, good day for the Ducks. We can got to bring in a lot of great pieces of the program, but we can go and open it up for questions.
Start right here with Zach in front.
Well, just one thing to go out and sign 20 plus players and flip a couple, but what does it say about this class that you entered today with so many commits and all those commits so far have signed with the team and not flipped elsewhere?
Yeah, I just think it speaks to the consistency of of our approach, and ultimately, you always want to focus on the guys you get, not the guys you don't. And we did a good job of identifying targets that fit our needs, what we were looking for, but also fit our values of what we wanted in this program.
Front left, James.
To have the top ranked class in program history and be in the top five with all the teams who are vying for playoff spots. It's what everybody wants to do and build towards. What is it like to execute it and deliver on it?
Yeah, I just think it shows the staff and the program's work that they've put forward, and then the vision for the program and where we're headed. So obviously, the best way to enhance your team is to enhance your talent, and then it goes into developing that talent. So when we have that, we've got a great chance to be successful here.
Second row on the left here, Eric.
Can you speak to maybe your staff's relentlessness recruiting? Obviously, flipping a couple guys on signing day. What and sometimes maybe you give up, but you guys didn't.
Yeah, it's just an everyday approach, and I think we've got a staff that's been doing this for a while and recognizes it's not about the short term. It's about being able to do something every single day, focus on the long term goals, and there's these guys that we're going to get are guys that we think can really enhance what we've built and already established here. So having guys that are open to being at Oregon and realize what Oregon can be, and then having a staff that's willing to work to go get those guys.
All the way in the back, Matt.
Were the last 24, 48, 72 hours just like putting the final pieces to this class together?
Well, you keep your phone plugged in, right? It was a lot of work. It's a lot of work for our staff, a lot of work for our, everybody here in the program. But that's the way these days are supposed to look, right? It requires hard work to be able to, get results. And again, I can't praise our staff enough for doing a great job. I can't commend the players that made the decision to come to Oregon. Every one of them will, certainly won't regret it. We're going to give them our best every day.
Front right, Zach.
I don't think there's a lot of 6'8" tackles kind of roaming around college football a lot. What is someone like Shaq with the size and athleticism that he has? What does he bring to the program?
Shaq's a fun one. He's got a great personality. That's a great example of a guy that from afar, Oregon was always his dream school, and actually started to court us before we started to court him. But you watch the film, and he stands out. But he's one that is extremely talented. I think he's going to bring an energy to that room, and he's one that every single one of us can remember once you see him in person. What he looks like and what he can do for this program.
Front left, James.
How important was what Troy and Tez and T. Ferg did this season to attracting talent at both receiver and tight end in this class and in future cycles?
Yeah, huge. I mean, I think early on, when you come to a program, you tell people what you hope to do, right? And after you're able to have a couple seasons, you can point to what you have done. And guys like Troy and Tez and Bo and what we've done on offense the last 2 years and what we've done on defense, I think all those things, attribute to being able to point to success and what it'll look like for people here in the future.
Second row on the left, Eric.
Class is primarily prep guys, but Sione is a lone junior college player. Why was he attractive? And then positionally, does he provide some versatility with his size and skills?
Yeah, where he's coming from, Coach Tolick does a phenomenal job. Is a guy that we've had, great relationships with in the past and past stops at other places I've been. And he spoke to this guy early on, was one that we could identify that we knew fit what we were looking for. He's been in a great program. He's a guy that has length and speed and is an asset, for what we're looking for in the back end.
All the way in the back, Matt.
Dylan Gresham, just keeping him, the importance of that. And his junior year, it's like a career's worth of stats. Just what does he bring to the table for you guys?
Yeah, Dylan's one of my favorite players. I mean, in this class, I've enjoyed watching him and recruiting him for a long time. Saw him early on at Redlands camp a couple summers ago. And even after he committed, he's a guy that continued to come and compete every opportunity he got. So he's a hungry player. He's a talented player that I think can do great things for the Ducks.
Front left, James.
You've certainly had a lot of churn at various positions since you first got here, you and your staff. But in terms of volume at their position, I think Junior has the room with the most guys compared to who he inherited. How instrumental has he been through not just this cycle in this class, Dan, but you look at what he inherited which was a room in a mid rebuild, to now entering his third year where everybody will be guys who he brought in guys last year that overhauled this entire receiving core, changed this offense. How instrumental has Junior been to the entirety of your time here?
Yeah, very, very instrumental. I think Junior has a proven track record of recruiting great talent and then developing that talent, and then it showed up, in this recruiting cycle for sure.
Front right, Zach.
What's the process been like with Jeremiah? Obviously, you're recruiting him hard. He decides to go elsewhere, but then you kind of stay in touch with him over this time. How confident did you feel through that process that you'd still have a chance to ultimately land him?
Well, we felt confident that we were willing to be consistent. I remember the day that he committed somewhere else, and just being able to talk to him and saying, "Hey, coach, yeah, I'd love to keep the communication going," and it never really stopped on our end, all the way into late last night and early this morning. So I always felt like there was an opportunity if he felt like this was a fit, that there would be an opportunity for him to be here, and our staff did a phenomenal job of continuing to work all the relationships necessary for him to see the same picture and vision that we saw.
Second row left, Eric.
In-state recruiting this cycle with 3 in-state guys and a Fox is just over the border, but 3 or 4 guys that are really from this area. Speak to that and kind of how special it is to keep those players in state like that.
Yeah, there's years, at times when there's not as much talent necessarily in the state that's going to fit, our needs here at Oregon. And there's years where there are. And this year there was, some guys that are really talented in state that we felt like were going to be great players for us in the future. And anytime there's local talent, anytime there's West Coast talent that fits our needs, those are the guys that we want to get. So really excited about those guys.
Front left, James.
Kind of following with that, to have 7 and maybe 8 of the top 20 or so players in California, always a goal for sure. But how much did moving to the Big Ten and not having anybody have that one up on you and recruiting in this cycle, how impactful was it to get it done?
Yeah, I think, ultimately everyone has seen, what Oregon is and what, it can be here. I think the move to the Big Ten gave everyone a clear vision about where we're headed as well. So it's a premier conference in college football. Us getting to be a part of that and build and enhance that conference is something that was really important, I think, to the guys that we brought in this class and our coaching staff as well.
All the way in the back, Matt.
To Trent Ferguson, a guy that hasn't played just a lot of football. What did you like? What are the intangibles that show up that you think could translate right away to playing football at this level?
Yeah, he's got great size, but one of my favorite things about Trent is watching his lacrosse film. Seeing his athleticism. I don't know if anybody's seen a guy that big move around the way he moves around. And, I think part of his intrigue with Oregon is the opportunity to be developed here, and you don't eat an elephant in one bite. It's going to take some time, to develop Trent into the player that I think he can become, but he's got some things you can't coach. So excited to see that come to fruition.
Front right, Zach.
At what point are you able to kind of take a breath? And I don't want to say relax, but I mean, you've been on the go for so long now. That past couple of weeks, got the bowl game coming up. Is there a time in your schedule where you kind of see a spot where you can say, okay, relax, see family a little bit? Is that coming up for you?
Yeah, we'll wrap up practice at the end of this week and give our players a couple days off right around Christmas, and our staff as well. We'll certainly all still be working the phones, because there's still pieces to the puzzle that could adjust and change. But yeah, that'll be our opportunity to kind of catch our breath right around Christmas.
Front left, James.
For as many of the positions can draw attention, certainly the defensive line with Aiden and Elijah. What do you see in each of them to where they could be potentially instant impact players for you?
Yeah, just that they both have great size. They both come from dominant programs. They've been coached hard. You see guys that have a skill set that reminds me of guys that I've gotten to coach in the past, and an eagerness and hunger to get better.
Back left, Hayden.
It's a position that doesn't get a lot of attention, but what goes into landing one of the top prep punters in the country like you did?
Yeah, obviously talented player, but he came here, and I think coming here, getting to see this place, and then coming back again and seeing it again, what sold Oregon was Oregon, right? Obviously, great talent, best punter in the nation. When he was around our players, I think he realized how special this place was.
Second row left, Eric.
Curious on Kingston and how he fits defensively. Is he the safety? Does he play some linebacker? Is it all that open-ended now? I'm just based upon his size and where he's played in high school. I'm curious.
Yeah, I think Kingston has some position versatility, and most of our guys, as we train at multiple positions, but we see him as a safety, hybrid. He could also play star for us, and he has some elite wide receiver film as well. So I think there's a lot of things that Kingston can do. At the end of the day, what you know is you're getting a winning football player.
All the way in the back, Matt.
Your thoughts on Luke? I think I saw last spring he was like the anchor of a relay team. You don't really see that for that position. Just his impact and what you liked with him.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys I got to watch, perform as well this season. But yeah, the first thing that stands out to you when you watch his film is his speed, and he can run. This is a guy that's really passionate about growing and developing as well. Eager, again, like many of these guys I've mentioned, to learn and get better. And appreciates hard work. It's still a relatively newer position for him as well. But getting to watch him perform in a game was something that really sold me.
Front right, Zach.
Someone like Dewan, I think, was probably overlooked by a lot of people, but you guys keyed in on him pretty early and liked him a lot. What is it about him and his game that you guys appreciate?
Yeah, I think just seeing the product he is now, and then the potential of what we think he can become, and talent. The talent's there, but we don't really care what other people's opinions are of players. It's really about our evaluation and what we think they can become.
Front left, James.
To land 3 of the top 15 linebackers in a single class doesn't happen very often anywhere, most especially not on the West Coast. I think it's only happened here once before. What was it about this class and prioritizing that position to get it done at a position that's historically just very difficult to do that?
Yeah, ultimately, what I love about all those guys is they love to compete, right? And that position is a really important position in our defense. It takes guys with great intelligence, but I think they've seen the success that we've had with guys at their position in the past, and what this defense is able to do with guys in those positions. And we need really good players, to be able to play for us in those spots. And it's not just linebacker; it's the value they add in special teams and everywhere else.
Second row on the left, Eric.
25 names in front of me here. I'm curious roughly how many you think are early enrollees, how many guys are joining the team for spring?
I don't have an exact number on that, but a good amount. Yeah, we'll have a good amount of those guys here early.
All the way in the back, Matt.
Flowers played for a really good high school team. I think he almost got to a state championship. Just what makes him so special, and I guess it didn't sound like he ever really wavered, being so far away from home too. Just your thoughts on him.
Yeah, he had a lot of options to consider early on, in the process. But I think coming up here and spending some time with us firsthand, really stuck out to Aaron and his family that what he could accomplish here. Watching his film, he's a guy that's played at corner and played at safety, but the thing that stands out is really ball production. He's able to be around the ball and attacks the ball really well. He came here and performed for us in camp and walked away with a couple picks, and same thing showed up on film when you watch his film this season. But great kid, awesome family. Certainly excited to see what he does here.
All we have, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.